What is up, guys? Alex Scott here with Consordini.com. Thank you so much for checking out another one of our gear reviews. This one is going to be a little bit different than a lot of the other reviews that you have seen me do. I've certainly looked at a couple of guitars here on the channel, but this is the first acoustic guitar that I have taken a look at. This is my personal acoustic that I got exclusively for use in my studio, and that's kind of where this review is going to be coming from. I am not a accomplished guitarist. I am not a touring guitarist. I am not somebody who has played a ton of guitar at all. If you guys have not seen any of my other videos on the channel, what you should know is that I am mainly a recording engineer and music producer. I do a lot of production with local bands. I'm based in Denver, Colorado, and I work with a lot of local artists, helping them produce and mix and master and all that kind of stuff, their records. But I also do a ton of commercial production work. So I do ads for TV, I do ads for radio, I do scores for independent films. I work on a lot of video games, doing sound design, all this kind of stuff. I do a lot of different work, basically, and all of it happens in my studio. And when I was very first getting set up a number of years ago, I knew that I would need some very basic instruments, even though, again, I'm not really a guitar player. I can play a little bit. I know a couple chords, and I can do some simple, some simple lead stuff. I'm a bass player originally by trade. So I can do anything I can do on a bass, I can do on a guitar, and I know a couple of chords, basically. But it's, again, I was starting a studio, and I have a studio now, and am gainfully employed in it, and I knew I would need kind of a basic level of instrumentation here for other musicians to use when they're here playing and need to get down a quick idea or, play some chords for somebody. And then also I knew I would need some basic stuff for if somebody heard an element on a track that they wanted to add. I would have some kind of a basic version of that instrument laying around that they could grab and track something really quickly, either as a final keeper thing or just to get an idea down. And first among these items that I knew I was going to need is an acoustic guitar. Now, my father, his name is Joe Scott. He is actually a very well-known guitar player and plays mainly acoustic guitars. So when I was shopping around and looking around for one, I called him, and he has many, many instruments that are valued at lots and lots and lots of money. He has some custom acoustics. And I said, hey, I don't have a ton of money. As you know, my dad, I'm not a guitar player in particular, but I need something easy, basic, inexpensive that I can pick up and strum a little bit when I need to, that if I have a band in here and they're trying to write a part, they can just have an acoustic to grab. Or if I'm recording something for somebody and say, hey, a little bit of acoustic would sound really nice on this. Just something that is of good enough quality right out of the box to grab and have it sound decent, be easy to play, not have a ton of problems with it. What can I get? And what am I looking at? I was expecting to spend $300, $400, maybe $500. And my dad said, check out the Yamaha F335. Specifically, this guitar has been made in this basic incarnation for, I think, almost 50 years. A friend of mine has one that's from the 70s, and it's basically identical to this one. I paid $160 for this guitar, brand new, at Guitar Center. And dollar for dollar, pound for pound, you guys know I love my value, this thing's amazing. I'm absolutely blown away at how good it sounds, how easy it is to play. I get compliments on it all the time from musicians who come into the studio, and we're doing one thing or another, and they go, hey, do you have an acoustic handy? And I throw them this, and they strum a little bit or record something and go, oh, this thing's really nice. It sounds good, plays really nice. What'd you pay for it? $600-700? $160. Wow. It's a great deal. And again, for somebody coming from my perspective where I'm not really a guitar player, but I just need something where I can sit down and just as a background layer on a track, it's absolutely perfect. It sounds great, it plays great, it sets up very, very easily, and it's pretty inexpensive. So if I get dings on it, like you can see I've got a couple here, and there's a few scratches here and there, I'm not too stressed out about it. If somebody ever happened to drop it or fall into it or something and it got completely destroyed, I wouldn't be totally destroyed that myself that they had cost me thousands of dollars for my acoustic or something. It's cheap, it's easy. It's got a laminated spruce top, which, a lot of people are pretty preferential to solid spruce or at least some kind of a solid tone wood for the top. sounds fine. You know, again, at the price point and for what I need out of it, it sounds wonderful. We have, I think it's Meranti is the wood that comprises the back and the sides and the neck as well. And then we have a rosewood fretboard. But again, for a $160 guitar, on a lot of other things that I've played at this price point, you have a lot of, you know, sharp, nasty frets hanging out the side, and, you know, maybe a neck that doesn't quite sit straight, and they come with real junky strings and are not set up particularly well. I haven't really touched this thing other than changing the strings. I really haven't touched this thing since I purchased it, excuse me. And it's been rock solid and absolutely reliable from day one. So what I want to do now is we're going to go out into my tracking room. I'm going to set up a bit of a nicer microphone so you guys can really hear the tonal quality of the guitar. And then we'll come back in here and I'll just give you guys a few closing thoughts. But let's move out into the tracking room and give it a listen, see how it sounds through a good quality mic. Okay guys, so there you go, the Yamaha FG335 through a decent quality microphone. It sounds great. I mean, it really does. It's always surprising to me. I always feel like there's got to be some kind of compromise when you're spending this little on an instrument. You know, $160 is not a lot of money for an instrument that's going to be used, especially in a big professional recording studio, and, you know, is going to be used on ads that are going to go out and be heard by thousands or tens of thousands of people on the radio or TV or whatever. And it sounds great. It really does. I mean, you know, and then you get a really high-end Martin into the studio and somebody who really knows how to play it, and obviously that's going to sound a little bit better. But again, this whole review is not from the perspective of I'm a professional guitar player who owns a ton of acoustics, and here's what I think of this one. That's not the case for me. I'm a bass player, I'm a drummer, and I'm a producer and a recording and mixing engineer. That's really what I do. But because I do those things, and because I produce all these different kinds of music and work on all these different projects and blah, blah, I need a variety of good instruments in my studio that people will be able to play and work with, and that I'll be able to use to get a variety of different sounds and textures on all the different projects that I do. And from that perspective, I don't think there's a better acoustic guitar on the market. I don't think you could find something that's this inexpensive, sounds and plays this good, and, you know, just checks all of those boxes. It's a really, really phenomenal price point. And I love Yamaha for a lot of stuff. Yamaha has made a lot of really wonderful gear over the years, and this I totally count among those ranks. It's inexpensive, plays great, sounds great. It does everything that I need it to do. So if you are in the position where maybe you're a beginning guitar player and you want a really good sounding, easy to play instrument, then you don't want to spend a lot of money, FG335. If you're a studio owner like me and you just want to have a good basic acoustic laying around that people can use to get scratch ideas or do a few acoustic layers on a track, FG335. Even if you're a really experienced guitar player and you just want a cheap acoustic that you can kind of take to jams or campfires or whatever, that's nice, lightweight, not too complicated, you know, it doesn't have any electronics in it or anything, it's just dreadnought body and 6 strings. You know, if you are more advanced, you just want an instrument that kind of checks those boxes, you don't have to worry about as much. FG335. I mean, you know, I don't really see a reason why you shouldn't own this guitar realistically. If you ever find yourself needing an acoustic guitar for any reason, it's a great option. So what do you guys think of it, though? What do you think of other Yamaha acoustics? Do you think that there's a better acoustic out there for the value? If you do, I would love to hear from you, and I would love to go try it out, because this thing, it sets a pretty high bar for instruments that cost $160 brand new. But in any case, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I always appreciate hearing from you. You know, we make these videos for you guys, and I hope you find them enjoyable and have your own opinions about stuff. So definitely join the conversation down in the comments. Again, my name is Alex Scott with Consordini.com. Thank you guys always so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. sloppy acoustic playing. Bye, guys.